right, everyone. Welcome aboard tonight. Yeah, welcome to Spokane there, KGEG, Golf Echo Golf. Yep, Captain Jack here. We are pretty much almost ready to go. Welcome aboard. We're going to be getting started here tonight on a requested flight, a flight from, let's see, Spokane KGEG, and we're going to be going to KWYS, which is Yellowstone West. We're going to be going there and landing on runway 19er. Want to ask everybody who can to get in here and say hello. We're really glad that you've been able to make it and join us for the flight here. I'll get on here direct and just say a quick hello, and we'll go up on the flight deck here and get started with everything that we're going to get started with this evening. Sunny skies here. We're going to make this a daytime flight. It is, of course, dark in the real world this time of evening. So we're gonna make it a daytime flight just so we can see everything. There's going to be a lot of really pretty mountains to fly over as we fly into western Montana from Spokane here. Let's go ahead and go over everything. I've already laid in the flight plan. The passengers are boarded. We're just about ready for pushback. We were going to use VATSIM this evening, and we'll still be using VATSIM. However, the controller that was on for this area just a little bit earlier this evening, he is not here anymore. So we'll be on 122.8 Unicom out of Spokane and probably on the rest of the way into KWYS there, Yellowstone West. I was not familiar with the Yellowstone West airport before somebody suggested it for last week, and then my good buddy Scott, who is a former pilot, K0SAH by ham radio call, he suggested that we do this as well. So I think it'll be a fun flight. I did do this flight the other day to kind of see how it's going to be. It's a really nice approach. It's going to be an RNAV approach, which I will show you here on the legs page. So, yep, the legs are all set. We'll be getting close to Yellowstone at Jigvee, and then we'll fly the direct line in to runway 19er there at Jigvee. So that'll be good. Graham, good morning. Welcome. Good to have you. Scott, I see you've signed in. So we'll get started here. Let's see. Let me pull up the checklist here. Let's go through everything. We will go ahead and start our APU. The APU is the next thing on the checklist here to get started. So we'll get the APU fired up, get the APU gens going, and we'll turn on our APU bleed. Let's see. Let me make sure that we're good up here. I don't think we're going to need the engine and wing anti-ice at this time. We'll turn on the recirc fans. And we'll bring the isolation valve down to open. The engine bleeds will go on. And we'll wait now for the APU to get fired up. She's firing up. The EGT, exhaust gas temperature, is going up at the moment. We'll wait for it to come back down and settle. And then we'll go ahead and put the APU gens on. So all of that is good. We're going to be ready here pretty quick to get rid of the jetway. I thought I'd show you this. I hope it'll show up on the stream. But you can see the exhaust gases coming out of the APU here at the back of the airplane, kind of giving the heat waves and everything. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool the way that is modeled. All right, our EGT is settled down. We'll go ahead and go to our APU gens, and those are good. And let's see, let's check that. Okay, the APU gen switch is up and in the proper position to show the voltage and everything, so the APU is good. We're going to be ready for pushback here pretty soon. Let's go ahead and take a look at the altimeter, and I'm going to press B, and we're going to get the altimeter is set. All right, B is set, and the altimeter is 30.14. So that's good. The transponder We'll set to just a normal 1200 there, and since we're not going to be able to get a transponder, it looks like from ATC at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and turn our transponder on. One other thing that I want to show you this evening that's going to be new and different, and you can even follow along on this if you would like, but you can actually go to a website and you can see our flight plan here this evening. This is really pretty cool. Here's Washington State, of course, and we'll zoom back out there just a little bit. This is a site called FS Hub, Foxtrot Sierra HUB.io. And if you pull up the radar on that website and then kind of zoom in here to the upper eastern Washington area, you should be able to see a white airplane and click on that airplane, and it will bring up the information that you see here that says Captain Jack and our transponder and heading and so on and so forth. And it will give you a very similar to FlightAware 24 map of our airplane and our progress. And we'll go back and look at that here as we make the flight on down to Yellowstone West here this evening. Let me see if I can pull that up on the screen. Okay, down here in your lower right-hand corner, you can see where the track ends, and that will be Yellowstone West. So there you go, Scott. Let's see. I hope your wife had a good flight up into the area up there this evening. I know that you took her over to Denver International just a little bit earlier today to get her started on her journey there. So very good. Hope she had a good flight there. Guys, don't forget to smash that thumbs up button if you would for me. I sure appreciate that. And if you haven't just subscribed yet, for those of you who either may be watching at this time or maybe watching the replay of the stream, if you do that, I would sure appreciate it. All right, let's go back to our checklist here. All right, flight directors are on. Auto throttle is off. Our radios, for now, we're set to Spokane Unicom. As you can see up here on the active of the VHF-1, so 122.8 on that. And those are set. We've got all the lights that we need on. So I'm going to do one more quick pass over the overhead panel here and make sure that everything looks good for our engine start. And I believe we do. So we'll go ahead and bring our fuel pumps on. And let's get ready for pushback here. I think we'll do this on the right FMC. So we'll go back to the menu, and we're going to go to FS Actions, and we're going to go to Pushback. And I think we'll do a straight out standard L. We're going to turn the nose to the right to get on the right taxiway. So we'll have them turn us to the right. I'm going to go ahead and select our tug. And we can get started here. Let's listen for the cue to push back here.
Cockpit to ground. Go ahead. We've been cleared for pushback and start. They want the tail to our left.
All right.
Roger that. Ready to push. Tail to the left. Parking brakes off.
Okay, we'll get the parking brakes off here. Going to take me just a minute. Earlier today, I was working on the flight sim computer and actually took all my computers out today and blew the dust out of them. It was so beautiful here and so warm. All right, let's kick the brakes off.
Brakes released.
All right. All right, and we'll turn the auto throttle on there, and let's go ahead and bring engine number 2 up. All right, here she comes. Looking good so far. I'm watching for the N1 fan speed to get up to 25, and when that does, I will introduce fuel to the right engine. And here we go. Introduce fuel. Okay, that started good. Let's go ahead and start number 2 and see it begin to spin up here. And all right, we're looking pretty good there. I'm going to have them stop the pushback now. Okay, we'll get the parking brake on. We see the N1 spooling up to 25% on the left engine, number 1. Go ahead and introduce fuel. So, Graham, how cold is it? -3 C, -3 C. So you were, what, about 25, 22 degrees Fahrenheit, something like that? Very good. All right, number 2 engine is spooling up really, really well. Yeah, Scott, you say it was 68 in Colorado Springs today. I think it was 70 in Denver. All right, let's look at the overhead up here, and we have blue lights for the engine gen, so we'll go ahead and change that over, get our little flicker there. Let's check engine gen number 1. Showing good. Engine gen number 2 is showing good. All right, we can go ahead and turn on our packs, set our isolation valve to auto. We'll take our APU bleed off and our APU off. Okay, we are ready to taxi, so stand by, everyone. All right, let's turn on our probe heat at this time. Probe heat is on. Engine 1 and 2 bleeds are on. Patch set auto. Recirc fan is auto once again. Just going over that a little bit. APU bleed and bleed is off. Let's go ahead and set our flaps to 5. I love that audio of the flaps coming up. That is really very, very cool. All right, flaps getting down where they need to be. All right, flight controls. Let's take a look at that on the outside of the airplane. Flight controls are full and free. All right, that's looking good. Okay, everything is looking good so far. Everything looks good up there. Just doing a pass from the upper left and down over everything. Center, the flow of just checking everything from top to bottom. All right, everything looks good. We should be really good here at this point. All right, we will go ahead and key up on Unicom here. Now let's see, we do have another controller up. It looks like there may be a controller in Denver, but yeah, that's not going to be up in our area, so we'll just go ahead and announce here. Spokane Unicom, Southwest 1116. By the way, we're going to be Southwest 1116 this evening for November the 16th. Going to taxi to runway 21 for departure via Tango 5 Alpha and Alpha 1. Southwest 1116. Spokane Unicom. All right, let's go ahead and do our taxi. Taxi lights on. Spooling the engine up. Taxi lights are on, so we're good there. Okay, we'll turn to the right here on Tango 5. And then we're going to cruise on down Alpha Taxiway. I'm not seeing the taxiway signs come up so great here in this particular scenery in Spokane. That's a little different. Hey, by the way, I was going to show you guys this too. I'm still learning to use it. Oh yeah, let's reset our fuel rate and flow. We're going to set our auto brakes to RTO. This aircraft is equipped with, dig that, a heads-up display. I'm still working on trying to learn how to use that, so we'll use that in a future flight coming up here. But the heads-up display in the PMDG 737, I've figured out how to get that to operate. So that's pretty cool. Yep, the doors are all closed here, Graham. Always a good call to check, and when I did the up and down checks here, I was making sure that all our doors were shut here as well. So yeah, that was part of that vertical check. Okay, we're going to keep on taxiing down towards the runway here. Yeah, Graham, I'm glad that you're hearing the sound effects and everything so good in the sim. That's really awesome. Okay, I'm just going over the checklist there. All right, it says it wants me to verify our V speeds. So when we pull up here to wait to taxi onto the runway, we'll do a quick check of our V speeds. I'm going to go ahead and bring just you guys up onto the flight deck here. And we'll get ready for takeoff here in just a moment. Okay, we'll make our right turn. Yeah, Scott, there's a little haze. There's been an awful lot of rain. We are using real-time weather, and there's been an awful lot of rain up here in Spokane the past couple of days. Been kind of cold and damp, so we're going to definitely be taking off up through the haze. All right, so let's do our V-speed checks here that the FMC is asking for. Verify takeoff speeds. Okay, we'll get that up. It lowered just a little bit. All right, I'm going to leave my bug up speed where it is. Well, actually, no, I'm not. We need V2 plus 15, so that's going to be about 144, 145. We'll just make that even. All right, let's set our course for the runway heading, which is going to be 211. And since we're not getting ATC control, we'll go ahead and set our altitude for 37,000 feet, which is going to be, or 39,000 feet actually. Oh, Jeremy's here. Hey, Jeremy, good evening. Saw you pop up there. We are at Spokane and heading for Yellowstone West. All right, there's our cruise altitude set. All right, VNAV and LNAV, let's engage those. LNAV is not going to engage just yet because we're not on the final course heading. Okay, we are ready for takeoff then. Put those back where I want them and set that to map. And all right, we are clear for takeoff. Release the parking brake. Hey, Jeremy, I like that. Yeah, you guys are NorCal Engineer. You guys are my flight crew. There you go. Scott's going to kind of be a proxy co-pilot and advisor. All right, we're going to do a turn and burn here. I've got engines up to 50%. Let's let them stabilize. And Toga, here we go. Here we go, guys.
Airspeed alive. 80 knots.
80 knots and checked.
V1. Rotate.
And rotate.
V2.
Oh, I kind of went up a little sharp then. All right, let's get our gear up. Yeah, this has us climbing a little steeper than normal. Let's bring that nose down. Yeah, let's go back on the flight deck here. You can see that the PFD there's got me climbing pretty steep out of Spokane. All right, now it's settling down and coming down. We're watching the cross lines there. Okay, we can flaps up flaps 1. And being as we don't have any real ATC tonight, I'm going to go ahead and start making our turn back towards our flight pattern, our flight path. Okay, we can set the auto brakes to off. And we're following that heading bug around. And we're going to pretend that the ATC has gone ahead and cleared us direct to MLP. So we're going to hit the LNAV on, coming through 8,200 feet. You can see that we're coming back on the flight path direction there that we need to be. All right, we'll intersect the flight path about 10 miles out. Let's take a look outside the aircraft here. There's Spokane that we just took off from. Off the left wing there. All right, we're coming through 11,000 feet, so we'll turn the landing lights off and we'll come back up on the flight deck and go ahead and engage the autopilot. All right. We'll start heading on up towards cruise, and I also want to show you here on the map. Bring that down in the center, and we'll come in a little bit. So we're heading for our programmed flight path here, and then the aircraft will come back around on the heading of about, looks like about 078. Yeah, Scott says we'll see Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. That was a suggestion that we fly one night there too, Scott. So, all right, let's bring that back in. Okay, good. So once again, welcome. Glad to have those of you who are watching live, as well as those of you who may watch the replay later. So hello to you, and welcome to another Thursday night flight with Captain Jack here. The one thing I did not do, and I need to always go through my checklist, is set the chronometer. So it'll be off by a few minutes. Of course, that is on the checklist before we take off and get on the runway there. So very good. Okay, checking our after takeoff checklist. The autopilot's in command A. Auto brake is off. Auto brake is off. We're in command A on the autopilot there. Flaps, of course, are retracted at this point, and let's go ahead and bring that last one out. And let's see, where am I? Cabin pressure. Let's take a look at our cabin pressure up here. All right, this looks good. All right, so we are cruising on up to cruise altitude there. So long runway in Coeur d'Alene, Huscott. Now you actually flew in and out of there quite a bit in real life, didn't you, my friend? I think you had a lot of time in that area. Yeah. So by the time we hit MLP as a waypoint, we still will not have quite made our cruise altitude. I thought that was kind of a high cruise altitude. Go ahead and set to standard as we've been through 18,000 feet. Standard on the altimeter here. Once you get to your transition altitude, you always set the altimeter to 20 or to 2909 or 2. Okay, we're continuing to climb at 275, 273. And we're going up kind of quick. They, one of the guys who did a review on this PMDG 737 said that it can climb like a bat out of Hades. So there you go. By the way, we're using the EFV this evening as well. I calculated all the takeoff information from Spokane on the left-hand side tablet here for the pilot. The first officer also has one over here as well. So it's really cool that this just came out for a flight simulator. And you can have a map on here too that will show you your various waypoints. So we'll get the weather at Yellowstone here just a little bit later, as we're beginning our top of descent and starting to descend down. Let's see, according to the clock, let's look at our progress here. We're going to be landing at KWYS at 1858. Because we've skewed the clock, we're less than an hour away from landing, so that'll be good. That area that we're going to be landing in is actually right out in the distance, long distance over the nose there. Let's take a look at it outside the aircraft and see some of the scenery here real quick. Let me turn that down just a little bit so it doesn't deafen us, but that's Coeur d'Alene Lake right there. Now, Scott, you've really seen this area, so is this what it really looks like from there? Yeah, that's right. In America, our transition altitude is 18,000 feet. It is different in other countries. As a matter of fact, I think in Europe, I want to say it's 8,000 feet, maybe 6. That looks like a bridge over a dam down there, maybe. All right, we're climbing through 27,500 feet. Yeah, I like the daytime flights just because we can see so much more. We will do a couple of short wintertime, nighttime flights as we cruise along too. So that'll be cool. Yeah, see, all my video controls are over here on the left. So we'll take a look here at our fshub.io. And we're about to make a wee bit of a right-hand turn towards the waypoint rival. Thought it'd be fun to watch the aircraft from outside here as we get to Mike Lima Papa, MLP. 31 miles to go. Come back up on the flight deck here, and once again, you can see that I'm looking at the MFD here, the main flight display, and we're coming up on MLP. Then we'll make a right-hand turn and hit the top of climb. We'll cross Rival, and then we'll be heading on to Slip, and finally we'll be making a right-hand turn into the runway at Jigvee. Well, I hope you guys have had a really, really good week. I've been doing some other flights around, and while we're heading up to cruise here, I'll show you a couple of other things on the FS Hub site here. You can see where I've made some other flights. I flew from Denver to Omaha, and then into Indianapolis, and on down to Nashville. And then last night I flew on into Wilmington. Tomorrow I think I'm going to do a sim into the Washington, D.C. area. So I think that might be kind of fun there in there from Wilmington to Washington. Okay, let's see. It looks like we may have a controller coming online with us here pretty soon. Let's see. Let me see where we are. No, we're not going to be able to have a controller. I'll show you the website that I'm looking at sometime in the future because I don't have that software up on the screen. One of the nice things that you can do too is you can go to you can look up you can search Captain Jack up here. So if we go to search, just put in Captain Jack. And it will come up with my information, and you can click on that, and you can see some of the quick stats that I have from time to time. Average landing rates, total number of flights, total number of hours since I've been on this website. Flown a total distance of 3,829 nautical miles. This is MSFS 2020, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. I'll tell you, a lot of flight simmers that I've been watching on YouTube have gone almost strictly Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, or I think maybe one or two of them may be using 24. X-Plane, you just don't get the scenery like this. X-Plane actually has a way for you to make a scenery with a software package called Ortho Scenery, but you actually have to make it yourself, and you got to have the storage for it and all that kind of thing. Microsoft Flight Simulator pulls all of its scenery from Bing Maps. So pretty impressive looking down at the mountains. And I've looked at the Google Earth pictures of some of these places that I've flown over in the aircraft in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and man, it's just bang on. Right? It's just spot on. Okay, we're coming up on our right-hand turn, and there we go. Yeah, Scott, you say the visuals have gotten so amazing in Microsoft 2020, and the flight modeling starting to get close to X-Plane too. It's just amazing how realistic they've made it. Oh, and Tom says they have the Eurocoupe available for MS-20. Oh, hey, you got to get that. Tom actually really owns that aircraft, so that would be fun for you to get in here and fly, Tom. You could go ahead and do some flights down there around Salida and there in the Arkansas Valley for real. All right, we're coming up on 38,000 feet, another 1,000 feet to go. which you can see being indicated to us by the green half line and the little tone that just sounded. So we're going to make it up to 39,000 feet pretty easy here. This is about, well, less than an hour flight. And only about 330 some odd miles, I think it is. Yeah, Tom, that might be a real good reason for you to want to think about doing some simulating here. You get to do some practice and fly the aircraft that you actually have in your life. That would be really, really awesome. Hey guys, I need to run and do something real quick, so I'm going to hand the controls over to Scott there. So Scott, you have the aircraft for a minute. And we're starting to see the top of descent coming there. I'm going to run and do something real fast. And I wish I had some groovy music to play for you or something, but I don't. So I will be right back. Everybody stand by. All right, I am back here. Good job, Scott. Thanks so much for keeping it. I should have left you up in the cockpit, though. Yeah, Tom's 1946 415C Eurocoupe. It's a beautiful aircraft. You know, I wish, Tom, I had taken that picture you sent me off of my phone and put it here on the computer so I could flash it up for everybody. That would be really good. All right, Scott, I have the aircraft. Thank you very much. Okay, we're about, looks like 123 or 4 miles away from top of descent as we continue to cruise along here at 39,000 feet over eastern Washington and western Montana. Yeah, doggone, I wish the air traffic controller would come on. We've got a guy covering the area in Denver. Oh, you know what? Actually, I can show this to you. So here's what I'm looking at for, well, I didn't want that to go away. Come back, aircraft. Where'd you go? Okay, yeah, let's bring that back up. Okay, here I can show you the VAT Spy map that I'm looking at. So we are right here, SWA 1116. So we're about to cross over, it looks like, into another area that would be controlled out of Salt Lake, it looks like. All these little aircraft call signs and things that you can see on the screen, I hope that's showing up in the stream. But we are right here, Southwest 1116. And the area in darker gray down here is being controlled by the controller who's controlling this area through VATSIM. And looks like there's some other folks down in the south part of the country. And way up in the northeast and just about all of Florida. Florida almost always has controllers on. There's a lot of people down there that like to do the VATSIM ATC. So yeah, good. I'm kind of glad that I thought of how to show you that. So that's what I've been watching to see if we get a controller for our area, but so far no luck. I'm also watching the VATSIM direct software interface. It's called vPilot. So we're logged in, we're connected, flight plan is filed. If they had somebody in our area, we definitely would be talking to them. But for now, we're just on 122.8, 122.8 Unicom. And I'm just looking at a couple of other things that I have on the side here. All right. So yeah, in the chat window, wonder what you guys have been up to during the past week, and what you may have going on as we continue to cruise across here. We're making a little bit of a left-hand turn adjust at Rival, R-I-V-A-L. I'll also show you that on my other screen over here, I actually have an FMC. I actually have two left-hand and right-hand FMCs here. So here's our progress page. And it's going to show us hitting top of descent in another 100 miles in about 11 minutes. It's saying at 18:38, so 18:25, so about another... come on, brain work, 13 minutes. And then we'll be landing in Yellowstone in just about half hour or so, a little more than a half hour. So yeah, I've got another two FMCs actually pulled up over here that I keep on a screen to me on the right. One of the things that you'd notice about flight simulators, there's a lot of ways for you to build a really good home cockpit. Once again, I think I said this on a previous stream, but look at Scott's QRZ.com page, ham radio web page, for those of you who are not amateur radio operators. But look at QRZ.com and look up Scott's call sign K0SAH, Kilo Zero Sierra Alpha Hotel. And Scott has an amazing home flight simulator set up that is actually considerably more elaborate with some of the screens than what I have here. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do this real quick. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the full webcam here, and I'm going to try to show you guys what it is that I'm working with in my flight simulator. So let me just get this pulled around here, and all right, we'll bring this up. Okay, so guys, this is what my flight simulator looks like. While we're at cruise here, before we hit top of descent, I'll give you a little tour. I've got the Honeycomb Bravo throttle quadrant that's set up as a 2-engine Boeing jet. And then I have the Honeycomb Alpha yoke, which I'm thinking about one day trying to get a Thrustmaster actual Boeing yoke that looks like what you'd find in a Boeing aircraft. Then I have my primary and main flight display on another screen in front of me here. And then down to its left, here's my audio mixer where everything is coming through audio-wise to you. And then, of course, the main 34-inch display here that is, basically what I'm watching and like looking out the front window of the aircraft. Then over here on my left-hand side is where I have the streaming software and everything set up. For those of you who are amateur radio operators, I have my Yaesu FT991A here that I have monitoring our skyhublink.com repeater linking system. And then over here on the left, I have my equipment rack where I have various odd and sundry other amateur radio things, including our home internet and everything set up there. And some audio processing. As you can see, my voice as I talk there fluctuating the meters, and some other monitoring. And then down lower, I have a couple of our Skyhub Link node radios that we use to link certain repeaters and certain modes here in Denver, and then a big power supply down at the bottom of it all. And, of course, my tool chest and various odd and sundry other things. So there you go. There's a quick tour of not only the KE0VH ham shack, but the flight simulator set up here too. All right, we'll go ahead and bring the flight deck back up on, and I'll put my camera back around where it needs to be. So there you go. We'll probably do a tour or so like that on occasion. And I'll sit back here. All right, let's see. Oh, yeah, that's, I'm reading some of you guys' chat here. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Okay, we're still about 60 miles away from top of descent. Show you where we are here on our flight plan. We're a little over a third of the way through almost halfway through the flight here. And on the way into KWYS. Yeah, Graham, thanks. Yeah, I've got quite a few. My wife was saying, how many monitors could you possibly need? And I said, let's see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 at the moment. I have a small monitor that was up above the FT991A that I use for our camera out front of the house here. Yeah, you know, you guys talking about low and slow. Let me see if I can pull that up on my other screen here. Scott Jeremy and I did a flight here a little while ago. Yeah, there we go. Down in basically southern Nevada, and we flew from just outside of Area 51. And then landed in Pahrump, and we flew down this valley. That's showing kind of a straight line flight, but it really was not a straight line flight. Let's see. I wanted to see if I could. Okay, can't quite remember how. Maybe this will do it. Let's pull this one up. Yeah, here are our flights. So we went from AR-51 in the Piper Cherokee is what we were flying, to 74 Papa, and let's pull up the view on this. Okay, it's not going to give me the map view. And I think I did not set this to running, though, until we were partway through our flight. But this fshub.io site is really, really cool to work through, and you use the landing rate monitor software. Let's see, Scott says uses a 42-inch LED 4K gaming oh my gosh, that's got to be just makes my 34-inch gaming monitor here look bad. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, Graham, use whatever you got. Use whatever you got. All right, guys, we got to start thinking about getting ready for our landing here. We are coming up on top of descent. In just about 30 miles or so. So I'm going to pull up some information here. Oh, I forgot to show you guys my my iPad that I'm using. Oh, it's not an iPad, actually. It's, yeah, it is. It's an iPad. But I use it using some software called flightplan.go. And it not only shows me where I am live on a map and live in the air. It's very similar, I understand, to a Navigraph and some other software there. Yeah, Graham, I know you've been trying some flights in there. I wonder how it's going. How's it going for you? Are you having a good time? Are you doing some practice flying? Okay, I'm looking at the graphs, and I'll have this eventually to where I can pull it up for you guys. But here on the screen, we need to go ahead and set our approach course to be 1902. It is runway 19 after all, so we're going to set both the captain and the FO to 1902. Go ahead and change the heading to 1902 because we're not going to have anybody vectoring us or anything like that. And I'm going to go ahead and lower our altitude at that point to our touchdown zone is at 6,633 feet. So we're going to go ahead and put in 6,300 feet into our MCP altitude control. So now when we hit the top of descent here in, let's see, we're due to hit top of descent at 38, so in a couple of minutes we'll hit top of descent. And we'll start descending towards 6,300 feet. And here's our flight path on into the airport, as we can see on the main flight display. Yeah, Scott's using an RTX 4090 NVIDIA. Holy smokes, that's like the holy grail and the top of the line. The card I'm using, the video card that I use, is a AMD RX 6750 XT. But prior to that, I was using an NVIDIA GTX 1070. And it was running this pretty well. My frame rates got a little lower than I'd like for them to be. And sometimes I did have a little bit of a stutter and hesitation in it, especially pulling out all the instrumentation that I like to use here while I'm flying. We will be recording tonight's landing so that we can play it back. Yeah, it's too bad we don't really have VATSIM controlling us tonight. Okay, we're coming up on top of descent. Let's see, let's bring that in a little bit. 5 miles out. See, our ground speed is 441 knots. True air speed is 427. It always kind of throws me a little bit. We have a bit of a 34 knot off the left rear of the aircraft. As a matter of fact, one of the things that I want to do, and well, let's, okay, we've hit our top of descent. Let's see what our descent rate looks like. And we're watching our descent rate indicator. And while it's going up a little bit above the flight path at the moment, it will start to lower itself here in just a minute. If not, I will intervene with some vertical speed control, but that should come back on. Let's see if we can get weather to pull up for us. Okay, Yellowstone, we're going to be landing on runway 19. Let's import the weather. We're still not getting weather. From there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the other website that I like to use. All right, KWIS. You know, this happened to me yesterday, although the headwind, that crosswind was about 20 knots. It was crazy, and I still managed to do a pretty decent landing. So we're definitely going to come in on runway 19 because there is no east-west runway. They just have the 19 and runway 1 there. So that's what we're going to be doing. So if we go down a little bit further, we've got a 4-knot crosswind and a 2-knot headwind. Crosswind component is 91%, but that's not going to be too much of a problem if it stays at 4 knots, so that's good. However, the METAR station used is 42 nautical miles away from the airport, so you can kind of take that with a little bit of a grain of salt. We'll see what the aircraft is telling us. All right, the altimeter is 3007 there. Okay, so the wind, let me go back. What did I say? That crosswind is 4 knots. Outside air temperature, it's telling me that what is it telling me? Okay, temperature, yeah, is 5 degrees centigrade. So we can put in 5 and should be able to change that. So let's go a 5C. And the QNH, once again, was 30.07. So 30.07. All right, now we can go ahead and get a calculation on everything. Okay, our VREF is going to be 139er. So let's just status check everything here real quick. This is an 8,000-foot runway. I'm going to go ahead and give myself a 3 auto brake. Okay, we're still a ways out from making the turn at Rainy. We're coming through 31,500 feet. Okay, so arrival and weather data, looking at the checklist here. Arrival and weather data obtained and set. Destination weather obtained. Landing altitude we have checked. Let's go ahead and set our VREF for our parameters up here. So 139er. I also need to see that right now we've got 9,100 pounds of fuel. We'll have 8.6, so that's 0.5. We'll come back here. We'll subtract 0.5 from 115.6 to give us 115.1. That will be our gross weight upon landing. I think we're going to land at flaps 30. I think we'll do flaps 30. We'll set that as our reference. Okay, runway 19er. Let's select that. We're going to set up our fix rings. Go to the fix page, put that in there. Set our 5-mile radial. Our 10-mile. And our 15-mile. Okay, that looks good. All right. Okay, I want the legs up so I can use that to help watch the speed. Okay, we're coming through 28,000 feet by the time we hit Rainy. There at the 18-mile point or so, we should be right at about 23,500 feet. Yeah, Scott, 4 knots is pretty small. It is. It should. It shouldn't be too bad. And by the way, yeah, we are using the RNAV approach. So our altimeter setting. Let's go ahead and turn these to baro. And we were at 30,007, so we'll set that 30,007. So when we hit transition altitude, we'll go ahead and go back to that. Pull these sounds down just a little bit there. Make that a little quieter for us. All right, 26.6, and continuing to look on in. Let's see, where are we in the checklist? All right, let's set our minimums. So once again, I can't show this to you guys, but the minimums on this runway are like 546 feet. Yeah, 546 feet. So we've got to really dial up the minimums. Minimums are going to show in this part of the PFD. There's 400. Okay, let's set that for 546. But we're going to have really a VFR approach as well, so that's not going to hurt us too bad there. There'd be too much to think about. All right, those checks are done. Our descent checks are done. So once we hit 18,000 feet, we'll go ahead and set the local QNH. Okay, and we're making our turn at Rainy. And there's, I turn the zoom out a little bit. You can see our approach rings, and we're going to be starting on approach about 15 miles out, and about another 25 or 30 miles for us. Just under 40, so we'll call it 35 for the sake of argument. All right. Scott says, in places like West Yellowstone, it's always a good idea, even if it's VFR, to back it up with instrument approach minimums. This time of year, fog can form pretty fast up there. Yeah, I bet. And it does look a little hazy down in those valleys. Let's take a look outside the aircraft. So I think we're going to be landing. I think Yellowstone's actually over in this area where I'm mousing there. And look at those mountain valleys, though, just beautiful. And I am using real-time weather and temperature, too, so it doesn't look like they've got much snow up there. In the wintertime, Microsoft Flight Simulator will render all the snow. So you can see the snow on the mountains here that we're crossing, but wow. Pretty spectacular. What a pretty airplane, too. All right, back up on the flight deck. Okay, what have we got going on up here? Everything is pretty nominal, so that's fine. Yeah, I know, Graham. Once again, the views in Microsoft Flight Simulator are just absolutely amazing. Just amazing. Yeah, Scott, you know, when I did this practice flight yesterday just to get used to it because I'd never been into this airport before, I was a little challenged by it. Looked like we were getting pretty low over the mountains, but there was plenty of clearance. The flight path was just fine. And little bit of a different challenge. And it's also a pretty long approach. It's going to be about a 20 miles straight in approach, and I had a little trouble spotting the runway when I was coming into it. Okay, now one thing that I did not notice a minute ago, we are massively off our glide path. We are way too high, so we're going to start bringing ourselves down. You'll notice here on the MFD, notice how far off the vertical profile that we got. All right, there's 18,000 feet. We're going to hit our standard. And we're descending pretty fast, so I'm going to go ahead and add a little speed brake in to help slow us up a little bit. And actually, that's too much vertical speed climb. Let's go back to about 3,000 to start with. And we're coming up now. No, other way, guy. Let's go that way. All right, now we're getting to where we're about 300 feet above the vertical profile. Need to come down a little more, and then we'll re-engage the VNAV. And our speed's all right. We're coming down to where we should be. Yeah, this was one thing that was a little tricky yesterday, too. I noticed that the vertical profile, I had to do quite a bit of adjusting on it. And it's still not coming down like I'd like for it to. So I'm going to go ahead and really nose the aircraft over. Okay, now we're getting to where I can re-engage the vertical navigation. So VNAV is back. We'll turn off the speed brake. And we'll get back on profile. Okay, speed brake is armed for landing in a little bit. Let's go through some of the approach checklist. We're going to be making our turn to the right here in just a moment at Jigvy. And this is where it got a little hairy for me yesterday because I thought, man, we're getting low over them mountains. Yeah, Scott, I'm glad to know it's like that in the real world because, yeah, that's a little hair-raising sometimes. Okay, speed is within limits. Nav course and frequency is checked. Speed brake armed. Approach mode we're not going to use because we're on the RNAV. Let's see. Then we're to where the glide slope's alive and flaps and all that. So we've got a little ways to go yet before we start engaging some of that. I'm going to go ahead and give us a little more speed brake here just to get our speed down to where the speed bug is wanting to be. And our profile is looking good again. We're maybe a little below it, but 60 feet I'm not worried about. And we're about 8 miles from making our right-hand turn straight into the runway, so we'll be hitting Jigvy here in just a minute. And I'm matching speed with the speed brake and flight detent. I'm using the speed brake and flight detent right now. Okay, this is where it gets busy. All right, I'm going to turn off the speed brake and rearm it. We're at 200 knots. And we're making our right-hand turn. To head straight into runway 19er. Okay, we're going to let the aircraft fly herself here a little bit as we continue on down. And yeah, you cannot see the airport out there just yet. I think I was less than 10 miles, maybe more than 5, before I could actually get a visual on the runway when I did this flight earlier. Yellowstone Unicom, this is Southwest 1116, coming up on 17 miles direct into runway 19 via Zizi, or Nasvi rather, and then runway 19er, Southwest 1119, Yellowstone Unicom. Okay, we'll make that announcement there. So, yeah, Scott, you said brings back memories, did this arrival many times over the years, so you're real familiar with this view, is that right? I got to set it up here eventually to where you and I can actually talk to each other when we've got the flight going on there. Hey, once again, guys, if you haven't hit that thumbs up button yet, please do, especially if you're live on the stream here, but those of you who may be watching this as a replay, please subscribe and hit that thumbs up button. I sure would appreciate it. All right, we're 15 miles out from landing. Speed is looking good. We don't need to engage the flaps yet. We'll set down the wheels about 7 or 8 miles. The runway's not actually in the range of mountains. Scott says it's on the edge of West Yellowstone Lake in the town of West Yellowstone, but the arrival takes you around all the mountains. Okay, very good. All right, I'm going to go ahead and give us flaps 1. And I'm going to do a little bugging of the speed. And I'm also going to hit the speed brakes here so that speed will start coming down. So we're looking pretty good here so far. Everything's looking good. We're coming up on the 10-mile out. I still can't quite make out the runway, but I know it. I think it's right in that cut right there. So we'll see it here. Landing lights on. All the lights are on. Coming through 9,900 feet. Speed is coming down. All right, I'm going to go ahead and give us flaps 15. We're going to come down to flaps 15, and we're going to set the speed bug. Try to get that speed down. All right, we're okay, now I see the runway. Yep, there it is. Runway is definitely there. Okay, the wheels coming down will help to slow us down a little bit too. I'm going to disengage the speed brake here. See, I've got some speed brakes up and flaps there. Okay, yep, there's the runway. I've got the runway visual in sight. Yellowstone Unicom, Southwest 1116 on 7-mile final for runway 19er, Southwest 1116. Okay, we're going to arm the speed brakes for landing deployment. All right, the airplane's controlling her speed there. And we're on the RNAV approach. Landing profile looks good. I hope you guys can see the runway out there. Let's go ahead and bring you up on the flight deck and enjoy the landing. And I'm going to start our landing recorder. So we are recording. 5 miles out. Let's go ahead and take her to flaps 30. And I'm going to set the speed bug for VREV plus 15. In just a couple of seconds here, I'm going to take over everything my own self there. All right. 1,000 feet. Stabilized approach. We're going to set our missed altitude to 12,000 feet. All right, we're coming in pretty nicely here. All right, my throttles. Reset.
500.
Profile's looking good. Speed is good. My aircraft.
400.
Just little controls here. I've got my aiming point picked. 2 red, 2 white.
200.
Yeah, that crosswind's not bothering me too much.
50.
Throttles back.
30.
Eyes to the end of the runway.
10.
Nose up. Wheels set down. Hey, we got applause. All right. Hey, minus 197. That's a record for me for landing. All right. Okay, we're going to go all the way down here to the end of the runway because they don't have another runway exit for us. All right, guys, welcome to Yellowstone. Yeah, we'll go ahead and taxi all the way down to the runway. They don't really have a really good extra set of taxiways to go ahead and get off here, so we'll have to go down to the very end. All right, yeah. So here's our landing rate, if you guys want to see that. 197 feet per minute, 0.87 G. Yeah, that actually is my best landing using the landing rate monitor. Okay. In Southwest 1116, clearing the runway, Yellowstone. Okay, we'll go ahead and pull around here, and then we're going to go back and watch the replays. Scott says the runway was upgraded so SkyWest Airlines could go in there. They were the first airline. Let's see, I got to drive first before I read. SkyWest was the first airline to provide air carrier service to West Yellowstone. All right, let's go ahead and taxi on down to the terminal, and then we're going to watch the replay. As a matter of fact, there is nobody else here, so I think we'll go ahead and let's retract everything. Flaps retracting. That is what flaps sound like on a 737. That is so cool. Okay, flaps are retracted. All right, I'm going to go ahead and brake to a stop here. And let's take a look at a couple of replays here. Okay, we're going to hear all kinds of stuff going off. That I did hear later. And you know what? I'm going to close this.
Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain.
Yeah, look at that. Our speed is good. We're a little off center.
Too low, terrain.
Okay, let's pull that back just a little bit. We'll stop the replay and reset it. Okay, there we go. Watch it from the outside here. Yeah, one of the things, too, that Microsoft Flight Simulator does during replays, and I saw one of the other guys comment on this, is it gives you all these alarms and everything that isn't really happening. Yeah, see, we were a little to the right of center line. But that's all right. I'll take what it gave me this time. All right, let's go back and have a look out the window. You also have to reset the speed brakes, as you see. Scott, you mean they have? Here, let's watch this. We'll see what the wing does. Nice little glide. Ah, very cool, very cool. Scott, so you have upgraded scenery for West Yellowstone. I'll have to look for that. I have bought upgraded airports for an awful lot of things, but you know, I just have the stock scenery in here. All right, let's look out the right wing here and hit the replay. It's fun to watch the shadow coming up over us. We just flew in over those mountains there. Yeah, those wheels set down with hardly a wobble. Oh, it's in the marketplace. Okay, cool. I'll have to take a look at that. All right, there we go. All right, guys. There's our landing. Well, very good. I'm happy with that all the way around. So we'll go ahead and taxi to the terminal here. Graham says it's Yogi Bear. Yogi Bear all around. Yeah, you can see the windsock over there out to the right. It's just hanging there with a little bit of a fluctuation there. So all right, we better slow up here. We're going to have to re-taxi, being as we were in the replay. So I'll just go ahead and re-taxi around us here. We'll pull up to the terminal, and I'll let you guys off, and we'll call it a night. Really good flight. I really enjoyed this. I think next week we're probably going to do a busy East Coast flight, but we'll see. And also, I want to let everybody know as well that I am going to have a knee replacement surgery on November 29th. So I probably am going to have to take most of the month of December off. We'll see how things go. All right, let's do our after landing checklist here as we go ahead and power on in. Let's go ahead and start our APU. APU is started. Yeah, I figured I was going to have to use air stairs here, Scott. So we'll call up the air stairs for sure. Yeah, and I don't really have a runway map in my flightplan.go here either. There might be one in Little Nav Map, but as you can see, that's not much of a terminal building. Yeah, you know, I might end up having to get that scenery. I may have to do some more flights in here. I think what I might do tomorrow, Scott, just you know, doing the sim for fun and everything. There's not another terminal building, is there? Is fly from here to Denver. Okay, let's go ahead and turn in here. Yeah, I'm not even really sure what this whole turn. So I'm going to take a break there. and just see where I should probably turn this thing around to the left. So let's do that. Yeah, I know you don't want to go that hard. And then we'll call for the air stairs and see if there actually are some here. Okay, let's park. Parking brake is set. Let's go through the checklist here. APU and APU bleed are on. Let's see if the APU is ready. It is. We'll go APU gens. Okay, APU gen is good. I never did use continuous on the engine start switches like we talked about there, Scott. So we'll try to catch that next time. All right. Probe heat is off. Window heat is off. We'll leave the packs on for just a minute. Let's go ahead and shut the engines down. All right. Engines are shutting down. Let's go back to the menu and go to our FS Actions, Ground Services. There is no jetway here, so we're going to change that to air stairs. Or not air stairs. We'll go ahead and set our chocks as it's telling us to do. It's not going to bring the stairs until the engines are shut down. That box is where you park. Well, I guessed right then, didn't I, Scott? That's awesome. Yeah, we got to figure out a way to get you in here voice-wise as well. Okay, we'll let the engines die down there. We can go ahead and request the stairs, and we'll request the passenger bus. And we'll set a 0 passenger load here, and as soon as the air stairs arrive, there's one of them coming in. And of course, we will have to open the door. Let's open the door. All right, yeah, door open just in time. Rear door is open. There's the rear air stairs. Okay, there's the bus. There's a fuel truck. I don't see the rear stairs. But that's all right. If that's open, then we can go ahead and start deplaning the passengers. All right, we'll start getting the passengers out of here. Okay, guys. Well, that was good. That was a fun one, and really appreciate you guys being here with me tonight. Once again, hit that. There's our rear stairs. Hit that thumbs up button if you would, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. I will be back next Thursday. Next Thursday is Thanksgiving, isn't it? Well, maybe no, actually I can't. Well, you know what? We'll see about another day. Watch your email. If you're not on my email list, Scott says they can jump you. Well, we could throw the emergency air stairs out, right? I think these airplanes will do that, the PMDGs. I'm not sure. But anyway, there you go. And one day I might get GSX to where we can actually see people walking out of the aircraft. So there you go. Anyway, this has been a lot of fun this evening. Appreciate you guys being here. I'll let you know in an email what we're going to do, what we may do. I'd really like to do a longer weekend flight, but we'll see about setting that up. But thanks for being here tonight. God bless you. If I don't see you, happy Thanksgiving. If you get a chance, check back with me. My email, KE0VH, my ham radio call sign, Kilo Echo Zero Victor Hotel, KE0VH at Outlook.com if you'd like to get on the streaming email list and you're not yet. But in the meantime, we will call it a night. Thank you so much once again for flying with me from Spokane to Yellowstone here, and we'll do another one here sometime here pretty quick. I'll let you know when. God bless, and good night, everyone. Take care, and happy flights.